Headed into this season for San Francisco, arguably the biggest question on the defensive side of the ball is not only who's going to start at the safety position, but who's actually going to make the 53-man roster. And while I've seen a lot of opinions varying from potentially Richie Grant all the way to Derek Canteen, a player I haven't seen mentioned is the second-year player Jaylen Mahoney out of Vanderbilt, which is somewhat surprising to me because the former cornerback turned safety recently posted the best coverage grade and best grade overall for San Francisco's team according to PFF, earning an overall grade of 91.4. So given how overlooked Mahoney has been so far in his preseason, I wanted to go over his most recent film against the Raiders, as well as a little bit of his Broncos film and career up to this point to really see his chances of making San Francisco's 53-man roster with players like Malik Mustafa out. Initially, to start out, the first thing that really stands out in Mahoney's film in my opinion is his ability as a coverage safety. Here for instance, in deep zone coverage, he's just reading this quarterback's eyes this entire time, and once he sees the quarterback targeting these wide receivers breaking, he breaks as well, and I love how aggressive he is here. And from the end zone angle, you can really see how challenging this interception actually was. Another part of his zone coverage I really liked that you kind of saw there was his ability to identify tight ends and wide receivers routes and then jump him. Here for instance, with San Francisco running cover 3, he identifies his post pattern by 84, and with the quarterback targeting it, he jumps it and gets there as soon as the ball arrives to not draw the PI. Mahoney also did a pretty nice job of being San Francisco's lone deep safety. Here for instance, without anyone behind him, he's responsible for this wide receiver crossing right in front of his face, and with the quarterback targeting him, he does a nice job of identifying it and then goes and attacks this ball, swipes it away, and gets a pass breakup on the play. Another underappreciated part about Mahoney's coverage skills in my opinion is his ability as a man defender because he was a nickel back at the college level for his first couple of years. Here on this play for instance, with this wide receiver breaking in hard on him, you can see how he's able to stay glued to his hip pocket. Outside of breaking up passes and his coverage ability, he also does a nice job of coming up from his safety position like here once he identifies this little curl route and making the open field tackle. I also love how hard he hits. It reminds me of Mustafa or even Siegel this year. In a similar way on this play, quickly he's able to take away this quarterback targeting this wide receiver in the end zone, and then with the quarterback going towards this little drag pattern, he sheds this wide receiver's block and helps bring him down before getting the touchdown on this play. And while not the fastest player, Mahoney has the ability to play with pretty great range. Here for instance, he's lining up in the pseudo blitz look before dropping off into zone coverage. It's not just where his coverage has impressed me though, as Mahoney has also looked like one of San Francisco's better run stuffing safeties so far this preseason. Here for instance is San Francisco's deepest man on their defensive side of the ball. He quickly identifies his quarterback pulling it and then shoots it without hesitation, ultimately getting the tackle for loss on this play. Mahoney also does a pretty nice job of engaging with tight ends and wide receivers and shedding their blocks when coming up from his safety position. Here for instance, he's able to engage with his tight end, sheds his block, and then once again gets his quarterback down. And like his passing game, I truly loved how aggressive he was coming up and hitting the back, but he also had the ability to be the eraser on San Francisco's defensive side of the ball. To really illustrate this point, here against the Broncos, Mahoney once again is San Francisco's lone deep safety in coverage, so if this back is able to bounce outside on him and get by him, this is a potential touchdown. But on this play, Mahoney is able to quickly identify the running lane, it takes the correct angle, and makes the open field tackle. With all these positives being mentioned about Jaylen Mahoney though, he does have some clear weaknesses, with the first being his measurables. He only comes in right around 5'10", weighing 190 pounds, so he's a little bit undersized for a safety. On top of that, he's not the fastest safety, but because of his aggression, he does play faster than that time. But speaking about his aggression, sometimes that can be used against him with the angles he takes. Here for instance, if he was a little bit more controlled, he would have made this open field tackle. Even with these concerns though, when I turn on Jaylen Mahoney's film, I see one of San Francisco's better safeties and a player that was vastly improved from his rookie campaign. And when you consider the fact that both Richie Grant and Malik Mustafa have been dealing with injuries, with Malik Mustafa likely to start the season on the physically unable to perform list, he does have a chance to make San Francisco's 53-man roster this season. But to truly understand the player he is, I didn't want to break down his career up to this point. When we were first introduced to Mahoney, for instance, he wasn't playing safety, but rather the cornerback position at South Point High School in South Carolina. And there, he was ranked a 3-star recruit by 24/7 Sports after having 150 tackles, 35 passes defended, and 10 interceptions during his career. And after his senior season, he had several offers, including from Vanderbilt, Ball State, Coastal Carolina, Kent State, and Liberty, with him ultimately deciding to enroll at Vanderbilt. And during his first couple of years there, he remained a cornerback while playing nickel cornerback for Vanderbilt, and as a freshman, he played in 12 games, had 23 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and 1 interception. Then as a sophomore, he was able to secure the starting nickelback role, started all 8 games, had 57 tackles, second highest on the team, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 passes broken up that year. As a junior, he started all 12 games, was third on the team with 53 tackles, and his 4 sacks were second on the team. He also had 2 interceptions on the year. Meanwhile, as a senior, he started all games at the safety position, playing in all 11 games, had 55 tackles, 7 for loss, and an interception. Mahoney's best year by far though came during the 2023 season, where he was a team captain as well as an honorable mention All-SEC player after starting in 11 games, leading his team with 6 pass breakups, and was second on the team with 59 tackles. That year, impressively, he also ranked 5th among all SEC safeties according to PFF in his run defense grade, and he graded out at 80.8 that season, which is pretty impressive. So after a college career that saw him play in 54 games, Mahoney decided to enter the 2024 NFL Draft, and while not invited to the Combine, at his pro day he came in at 5'10", weighing right around 190 pounds. He ran his 40-yard dash in 4.54 seconds, and his 10-yard split in 1.57. And in part due to these measurements, as well as him not having a clear position at the NFL level, I mean, was he a nickelback or was he a safety? He went undrafted during the 2024 NFL Draft shortly after signing with San Francisco. And as a rookie, surprisingly, he did see action in 3 games. And now in his second year, he looks vastly improved and saw his defense, and last game against the Raiders, he was San Francisco's highest graded defensive player, so honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see him push for a 53-man roster spot, especially if he's able to keep making plays against the Chargers. And even if San Francisco decides maybe he's not deserving of a 53-man roster spot and gives it to a veteran in Richie Grant, they definitely will be trying to get him onto their practice squad. And honestly, another team probably will sign him. But ultimately, these are just some of my thoughts on San Francisco's second-year standout in Jaylen Mahoney, and I'd really like to hear your thoughts down below. Who do you think is going to make San Francisco's roster as a safety? And it would also mean a ton to me if you did enjoy this video. If you go ahead and like and subscribe, it truly helps out the channel a ton. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.